The open-concept living room was filled with friends and colleagues. I'd worked 12 years in software engineering to afford this house, a modest 3-bedroom in a decent neighborhood. Nothing extravagant, but it was mine. The mortgage was in my name. Every payment came from my salary, my bonuses, my stock options that had finally vested. On the mantel above the fireplace, I'd arranged my professional awards. Employee of the Year for my first company, the Innovation Award for my second, patent plaques for 3 different software solutions I developed, and a framed letter from the CEO thanking me for saving the company $2 million annually through a system redesign. My brother Derek arrived late with his wife and 9-year-old daughter Lily. He walked through the front door, looked around my new house, and I saw his jaw tighten. He didn't congratulate me. He just asked where the food was. I was in the kitchen refilling appetizer trays when I heard the crash. Glass breaking, multiple pieces hitting the hardwood floor. I walked into the living room. Lily stood in front of the mantel, 3 of my awards smashed on the floor around her feet. She was holding one of my patent plaques, raising it above her head. "Dad says you're just lucky," she screamed at full volume. "Dad says you didn't work for any of this. Dad says some people just get lucky." She threw the plaque down. It hit the stone hearth and cracked in half. I looked at Derek. He was standing near the doorway, arms crossed, and as I watched, he gave Lily a thumbs up. Not subtle, not hidden. A clear gesture of approval in front of 30 people. My colleagues stared. My friends looked uncomfortable. My manager, whom I'd invited, stood with his mouth slightly open. I smiled, walked over to the broken awards, and picked up the pieces carefully so no one would cut themselves on the glass. "It's fine," I said to the room. "Accidents happen." Then I walked upstairs to my home office, grabbed my laptop and phone, and left through the side door. I got in my car and drove away from my own housewarming party. I went to a 24-hour diner and ordered coffee. Then I opened my laptop and accessed my banking portal. 4 years ago, Derek had started a landscaping business. He'd been working construction, hated his boss, and decided he could do better on his own. He had ambition but no capital, no credit history, no assets to use as collateral. He asked me to co-sign a business loan, $50,000 for equipment, trucks, mowers, aerators, all the machinery needed to run a professional landscaping operation. I'd said no initially. I was saving for a house. I didn't want my credit tied to his business risk. Then Mom got involved, and Dad, and Derek's wife. Family pressure mounted for weeks. "He's your brother. Family helps family. You make good money. You can afford the risk. He'll pay it back. Don't you want to see him succeed?" Eventually, I signed. Not as a co-signer, but as the primary guarantor. The bank required it because Derek's credit was poor and he had no collateral. I put up my assets, my credit, my financial standing to secure his loan. Derek made payments for 6 months. Then they started coming late. Then he missed one entirely. I got a call from the bank. I covered it to protect my credit. He swore he'd pay me back. Over 4 years, I covered 8 missed payments, $6,400 of my own money, keeping his loan current, keeping his business afloat, keeping my credit score from tanking. He never paid me back. He just kept telling family gatherings how hard he worked, how he built his business from nothing, how some people were self-made and others just got lucky with desk jobs. I pulled up the loan documentation, read through the guarantee agreement, then drafted an email to the bank's business loan department. "I am formally withdrawing as guarantor on business loan account number 4782 to 93562847, effective immediately. Per the terms of the guarantee agreement, I am exercising my right to terminate the guarantee with written notice. Please initiate standard collection procedures with the primary borrower." I attached my guarantee agreement showing the termination clause. Then I sent it. 3 minutes later, I called the bank's 24-hour business line and spoke to a supervisor. I confirmed my email, my identity, and that I understood this would trigger immediate loan default since Derek had no other collateral and insufficient credit to carry the loan independently. "We'll process this first thing Monday morning," the supervisor said. "The account will move to collections and we'll begin asset recovery procedures." "How long until asset recovery?" I asked. "Usually 48 to 72 hours after default notification." "Thank you." I hung up and sat in the diner until midnight. Then I got a hotel room. I didn't want to go back to my house with Derek probably still there, telling people how lucky I was. Monday morning at 8:30, Derek called me. I didn't answer. He called 6 more times. Left voicemails that escalated from confused to panicked. At 9:15, my mother called. Derek says men came and took his trucks. What's happening? Do you know anything about this? Repo company. His loan defaulted. What? How did his loan default? He's been making payments. I've been making 8 of his payments over 4 years. $6,400 that he never repaid. And I was the guarantor on his loan. I withdrew my guarantee. The bank called the loan. Standard procedure. You what? You can't just do that. His business needs those trucks. He should have thought about that before he let his daughter destroy my awards while he gave her a thumbs up. That was just kids being kids. You're destroying his livelihood over a childish mistake. Lily repeated exactly what Derek has been saying about me for years. That I'm just lucky. That I didn't work for anything. She destroyed awards representing 12 years of work, Mom. Awards for patents and innovations and documented achievements. And Derek approved. He gave her a thumbs up in front of my colleagues. He was joking. He was teaching his daughter that my success doesn't matter because it's just luck. While I've been subsidizing his business for 4 years. While I've been covering his missed loan payments. While I've been protecting my own credit by paying his debts. That's not luck, Mom. That's me working and him taking. Where is he supposed to get trucks now? How is he supposed to work? That's not my problem. I'm not his guarantor anymore. His loan, his business, his responsibility. She hung up on me. By Tuesday, my phone had exploded. Derek had told everyone I'd sabotaged his business. That I betrayed him out of jealousy. That I destroyed his livelihood over a broken picture frame. My dad called. You need to fix this. Derek has employees, people depending on him. You can't just pull the rug out. I can, actually. I withdrew my guarantee legally. The bank followed standard procedures. Derek defaulted on his loan. Those are the consequences. He's your brother. He's a brother who's been calling my career luck for 4 years while I've paid $6,400 of his missed loan payments. He's a brother who taught his daughter to trash my achievements at my housewarming party. Family goes both ways, Dad. Derek showed up at my house Wednesday evening. I watched through the window as he pounded on my door. I didn't answer. He stood there for 20 minutes, alternating between knocking and yelling. I know you're in there. We need to talk about this. You can't just destroy my business. I called the police non-emergency line. They sent an officer who asked Derek to leave. He left, but not before shouting, "This isn't over." On Thursday, Derek's wife called me. She was crying. Please, Derek has 3 employees. They have families. One of them just had a baby. You're putting them all out of work. Derek put them out of work by building a business on a foundation he couldn't support. I was never supposed to be a permanent guarantor. I was supposed to be temporary help until the established credit. That was 4 years ago. He's been struggling. The business has tight margins. Then he shouldn't have had his daughter destroy my professional awards while he encouraged her. He shouldn't have spent 4 years telling everyone I'm just lucky while depending on my financial backing. He made choices. These are consequences. She hung up. On Friday, I got a call from the bank. Mr. Hayes, the borrower is requesting a meeting with you to discuss reinstating the guarantee. Are you interested? Set it up. Monday morning, 9 o'clock. I'll be there. Monday morning, I arrived at the bank at 8:45. Derek was already there, sitting in the conference room with a loan officer. He looked terrible, unshaven, rumpled clothes, dark circles under his eyes. I sat down across from him. The loan officer started, Mr. Hayes, your brother would like to discuss the possibility of you reinstating your guarantee on his business loan. Without it, the loan remains in default, and will continue asset recovery proceedings. I understand, I said. Derek leaned forward. Please, I'm sorry about the awards. Lily didn't understand. She's just a kid. I shouldn't have laughed. I'm sorry, but I have employees. I have contracts. I need those trucks back. The trucks are gone, Derek. Auctioned already. The bank moved fast. He looked at the loan officer, who nodded in confirmation. Then help me get new ones. Reinstate the guarantee. I'll do better. I'll make every payment. I'll pay you back the money I owe you. You've owed me that money for 4 years. You've never paid a dollar of it back. You've never even acknowledged it. You just kept telling everyone at family dinners how hard you work while some people get lucky with desk jobs. I was just talking. I didn't mean anything by it. You meant it enough to teach it to your daughter. She didn't come up with Dad says you're just lucky on her own. You've been saying that for years, to her, to mom, to dad, to anyone who'll listen. The loan officer looked uncomfortable but stayed quiet. I'm sorry, Derek said again. I'll stop. I'll tell people you worked hard. I'll make sure Lily knows. Just help me save my business. No. What? No. I'm not reinstating the guarantee. I'm not co-signing anything. I'm not providing financial backing. You're on your own. You're serious? You're really going to let my business die over this? Your business died because you couldn't sustain it without my financial support. That's not a viable business, Derek. That's a business dependent on someone else's credit and money. You've had 4 years to build real credit, real collateral, real stability. Instead, you've been calling me lucky while I subsidized your dream. I have a family. I have employees. So do I. I have a career I worked 12 years to build. I have achievements that mean something. I have a house I saved for. All of it earned, Derek. Not luck. Work. And I'm done letting you diminish that work while benefiting from it. He stood up, his chair scraping loudly. The family is going to hear about this. They already have, you told them. What you didn't tell them is that I've been covering your missed loan payments for 4 years. That I've paid over $6,000 keeping your business afloat. That I've been the only reason you still had trucks to repossess. I stood up too. You can start over, Derek. Get a job. Save money. Build credit properly. Start smaller. Do it the right way, but you'll do it without my financial backing and without calling my success luck. I left the bank. Derek stayed, presumably trying to negotiate with the loan officer, but there was nothing to negotiate. Without a guarantor or collateral, his loan was dead. His business closed 3 weeks later. He sold what equipment he still had to pay final wages and close out contracts. Then he got a job with one of his former competitors, working as a crew lead. At family gatherings after that, he didn't talk much. When people asked about his business, he gave vague answers about restructuring and market changes. He never mentioned the repo. Never mentioned the guarantee. Never mentioned me. Lily, interestingly, wrote me an apology letter 6 months later. It was clearly coached by adults, but it was sincere enough. She said she was sorry for breaking my awards and that she'd learned actions have consequences. I wrote back thanking her and explaining that the awards represented years of work, not luck. I didn't mention her father's business. She'd learned that lesson from watching him work for someone else. I got my patent plaques reprinted. The other awards were irreplaceable originals, but I kept the broken pieces in a box in my office, a reminder that family support isn't infinite and that enablement isn't love. Derek and I don't talk beyond basic holiday greetings. His wife doesn't call. His daughter waves awkwardly when she sees me. My parents eventually stopped pressuring me to fix things with Derek. I think they finally understood that I didn't break anything. Derek broke it by building his success story on dismissing mine. I still own my house. Still work my lucky desk job. Still collect awards occasionally for work that Derek will probably forever consider luck rather than skill. And Derek still works for someone else, earning an hourly wage, no longer telling people how he built his business from nothing. Because it turned out he built it from something. He built it from my credit, my money, my guarantee, and my willingness to be taken for granted. When I withdrew those things, there was nothing left to hold it up. Some people call that cruel. I call it reality. You can't call someone lucky while standing on their foundation, then act surprised when they step aside and let gravity do its work. Derek fell, not because I pushed him, but because I stopped holding him up while he spat on my success. That's not cruelty. That's just physics.